My name is Edgar Arroyo. I'm an LCMS pastor, and I'm originally from Guatemala. Came to the United States in 1982.
How's your family, by the way?
They're doing fine.
Are they?
Yeah, my son is going to Cal State Fullerton, studying to become a doctor.
Wow.
My middle child, my daughter, she's moving to San Francisco this fall to attend Berkeley and to become a major in English. And my son, the youngest one, is going to start going to high school this fall also. And he wants to become a mechanical or robotic engineer.
Wow. So, Guatemala to here. Tell me, so you said you became a Christian here?
Yes.
Ah, so not in Guatemala?
Nope.
Well, what brought you first to America then? Just work?
Well, yes. Mostly work.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that I came to the United States is because I wanted to marry my sweetheart.
Okay.
And I wasn't working at the time, and we needed some money. So I told her, you know what, I'm just going to go to the United States, work maybe 1 or 2 years, save some money, come back and get married. But the Lord had other plans.
And what were those other plans? So in that 1 or 2 years when you came here, did things change? Or?
Things started to change. Mm-hmm. It wasn't as easy as I thought. Mm-hmm. And eventually my girlfriend got tired of waiting. Mm. So she broke up with me.
Heartbreak.
And I started thinking about my life.
Tell me then, how did you were thinking about these big questions?
Well, something came to mind. I needed help.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started thinking about God. And just something in my heart started telling me, you need God in your life. So it's a very peculiar story because I challenged God in my thinking, in my inner conversation. And I just looked up to God and said, if you do exist and you care about me, help me find you. Mm-hmm. And I started walking one day. And I remember very clearly a Wednesday evening. I started walking and I told myself, the first church that I find, it doesn't matter what religion or whatever belief they have, I'm just going to walk in and be there. Mm-hmm. And the Lord had something prepared for me because I came across a Pentecostal church. And it was open, which was kind of strange to me, Wednesday evening and a church that it is open at this time. And I walked in, they were having a Bible study, and it didn't impress me much, but they invited us to come back on Friday. And then I went back on that Friday. I wasn't impressed by the preaching either. But then after the service, they said, if you are going through difficult times or had troubles or trials and tribulations, stay after the service and we're going to just pray. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. Mm. And I just went away from everybody else, and I just opened my heart to God. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I don't know what I'm doing on this earth. Give me a reason to live. Give me a purpose in this life. Mm-hmm. And he did. I started working for the Lutheran school as director of the after-school program, right. And that's how I came in touch in 1993. I came in contact with the Lutheran Church.
And where was that?
That was at Trinity.
That's right.
Trinity Lutheran Church in Santa Ana,
right.
Orange County.
And then your journey into the Lutheran Church began, or?
Well, I was there for a few months. In 1994, about a year later, they called a pastor to do Hispanic work. His name is John Durkovic.
Oh, John Durkovic,
yep.
Yes.
And again, the Lord intervened there because the very same day when he arrived with his wife, he parked in front of the office, and for some reason, I don't remember why, but I went to the office that day, and I was there at the door at the very same time when he was parking, and he got off the car and introduced himself to me, and then he asked me, my name and where I was from. And I told him, look, I work here at the school, and I'm from Guatemala. And then he says, oh, really? I was a missionary in Guatemala for 19 years.
Wow.
And click.
So in many ways, God was coming after you, and he was sending people to you, and now you're sent to other people.
Yep. I was the only Hispanic at the school or at the church that he was in contact with. So he asked for help. And I told him, I'm not a Lutheran, but I know a little bit enough about your doctrine to know that you are a Christian church.
Yeah.
So I have no problem helping you.
Yeah.
And we started working together. And that time of my conversion was a 360 degrees turn in my life. Yeah. And I was single, so at the time, I just went to work, and after work, I would go to church. So I would spend 6-7 days a week at the church. Wow. And I was very involved from the very beginning. Wow. So when I started working with Pastor Dorkovic, I also got involved 100%. And I spent 2 years studying Lutheran doctrine. Yeah. And it convinced me so much that my whole family and I became Lutheran at the time.
Now, has that had any ramifications with your family back in Guatemala or any of these kinds of things? Or
not really. We are in contact, although my mom became a Christian because of it. Because she came to visit, and I shared the gospel with her, and she received Jesus as her Savior, and she passed away about 7 years ago and died in the Lord.
There you go. Well, tell us about your mission today. What are you doing today? And then we'll kind of go back and forth a little bit with that. And the challenges that you're facing.
Well, I've done a lot of things. First, I started working with Pastor Dorkovic. We planted a Hispanic mission at Trinity at the time. Mm-hmm. Then I became a certified deacon, and I started working in Los Angeles with the Hispanic Trinity Central, with Hispanic ministry there. And then I was called by the Los Angeles Nehemiah Project to become an urban missionary in Los Angeles. So I worked in Koreatown and also South Central. And I did that for about 6 years. See, Pastor Dorkovic had been telling me that since I became a certified deacon, if I wanted to become a pastor. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't so sure. Okay. And I started asking God, if you really want me to do this, you're going to have to give me a big sign, neon sign, that this is what you want me to do.
You wanted a Nehemiah sign.
So when the Los Angeles Nehemiah Project called me to be full-time minister or missionary in Los Angeles, then I started realizing, it's like, okay, now you're calling me to do ministry full-time. Mm-hmm. And then they started suggesting the same thing also, that I should pursue the ordination as a pastor. Right. And then they told me that they will help me, that they will support me and help me with this goal. And I came in contact with you.
Tell me some of the challenges that you are dealing with in your ministry right now.
I'm breaking molds, because now I'm pastoring an Anglo congregation.
I did not know.
And following the same pattern that I go where God sends me, I'm now located in Carpinteria, near Santa Barbara.
Okay, I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. So that's where I am. I've been there for about a year.
What a powerful thing, too, though, that, sometimes we always think that a white pastor pastors a white church, and a Hispanic pastor pastors a Hispanic church, and a black pastor pastors. Really, pastors pastor churches, and It starts to show that we're one family. Mm-hmm. So in this case, what a powerful thing that the people, they don't see you as Hispanic pastor, they see you as pastor to their neighborhood.
That's right.
Right.
And so
how do you feel about that?
I've been a pastor in Hispanic congregations, I've been a pastor in African American congregations, and now I'm a pastor in an Anglo congregation. And of course, always reaching out to other ethnicities
of the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Well, what in your mind are some of the biggest challenges that you're going to face to try to do that?
Well, in the city, with so many people and so many people going in and out, a lot of immigration, sometimes you reach out to people, but you are able only to plant seeds, because these people, they move out and they may go to another church, but it is good because you have planted
done
the
the work.
seed and it is expanding.
Well, see, people, they always used to say this to me about urban ministry. We're the church that prepares the best elders and servants of the suburban churches, because once they have children, they always move out to the suburbs.
Yep.
But they cut their teeth with us. So that hard work of planting the seed, but then losing them. But you didn't lose them, though.
No, and one of the things that I always try to do also is to teach about the priesthood of the believer.
Right.
And we need that in a Lutheran church.
Right.
Because we are so used to sit down, go through the service, let the pastor do everything, and come back next Sunday.
Yeah.
No.
So.
No. And I'm glad that in all these years, sometimes when I meet with these people again, I find out that they are still going to church.
Well, Edgar, one of the things that this project is about, it's not just, I know you've been a blessing to us because of all the work we've done together. And I know you've felt, as you've shared with us, that you've been blessed by people of the church and by people along the way. But this project is trying to make sure that you understand, or that the church understands, God sent you to us. So when you came from Guatemala just looking for work, that was part of God making provision for us who needed capable men and women and leaders to actually reach across boundaries.
That's right.
You are a gift to us. Let me ask you this question. How does that make you feel? That's because the church needs to understand that. They need to understand that God sends people to us too, that we don't have all the capabilities, like you said, to do all this work. So he sent us a man from Guatemala who just was looking for work, who finally became a pastor and a missionary. How does that make you feel?
It's all in God's hands, and it is a blessing. And I'm infinitely grateful to God for what he has done in my life. And when I look back and I see my journey, and I see how his hand has been in it all the way, and how he has blessed me so much to bring me out of being a sinful, lost person to be a saved son, a child of God, who that night when he asked for a purpose in life, it was given to him. So, yeah.
Well, you have blessed us.
Well, thank you.
And God bless you.
I feel blessed too, and I'm grateful that I can be a blessing. So, yes.
So a young man that didn't know what he was going to do, moving from Guatemala, now look.
Yep.
God sends you here, and now he's sending out people through you, and what a blessing you are to us.
Yes, and yeah, it's such a blessing.